All right, so it looks like wintertime is officially here. As yesterday in South Florida, we reported record low temperatures. Down in Key West, we hit like the 60s for the first time all year. So you already know what time it is. Everybody was busting out that sweatsuit that they've been waiting all year to pull out. Unfortunately though, today we're right back into like the 70s. So looks like it was a little cold front, time to hang up the sweatsuit, right? But no worries, we're still keeping the heat rolling over here, which I do apologize in advance for the little corny line, but if you guys are still sticking around, I challenge you, right? If you've been rocking with the content, you mess with me, consider subscribing. Come along for the journey, man. We just hit 7,000 subs. We're on the road currently to 8,000, which you guys are gonna be joining me today as we run through the latest sneaker news updates. It's Wednesday. We're gonna kick things off with a first look here at the triple black Air Max 95 leather, which this was shared by Frank Cook from over at Nike. Now, this is not Nike reinventing the wheel or anything like that, but as I say, more so kind of perfecting it, right? It's not the first time we've seen a triple black Air Max 95, which we've been seeing different variations of this classic 90s model, dropping all the way back since the Air Max 95 debut back in the day, right? But as far as the different variations, they always seem to feature some type of a leather mesh combo. As we see with this upcoming release, you got the full leather upper, which I feel like is a really nice touch. It almost gives this classic sneaker kind of like a winterized feel, which is very appropriate due to the fact that these are expected to drop sometime coming up this holiday season, right? So nice looking sneaker. It's no secret that this year, the 95 has definitely been a heavy push on this sneaker from Nike with so many different collaborations, so many different releases. It's kind of difficult to keep up. And speaking of 95s, right? We got a first look here at the upcoming Kith Air Max 95, which as far as the debut, you guys see them on the feet right here of Kith's very own Ronnie Fig. And then you got the sneakers shopping guy from Complex rocking these joints, which I want to say as far as like first impressions, when you talk about sneakers, it's very important, right? I'm assuming these guys got to be courtside, like at the Knicks game or something like that. But as far as the aura here, like there's really none, right? Shout out to Ronnie, he's the OG, right? But as far as the sneaker shopping dude, like the jacket, it's looking uncomfortable. Both of them boys are looking kind of stiff. The glasses are almost giving like undercover type of vibe. So when you debut a shoe like this, first impressions are everything. Like it would have been a much more cool look, right? You put these on the feet of somebody with a little more aura, right? Think of like Spike Lee, how he gave us the first look at them Levi's Jordan 3s. That was legendary, right? If he would have rocked these, maybe it would have been a different thing, right? You could have threw these on like a New York Knicks legend, somebody like Charles Oakley or somebody like that, right? I think it would have been much more cooler. But to be real, I mean, you would expect these to be like a dope shoe. You got the New York Knicks theme, you got the orange, you got the blue. These could go for the Mets too. On top of that, you got the gray color blocking, right? The gray scale, which goes from dark to lighter on the upper. You know, some slight tweaks as far as the design, the materials and all that. But unfortunately, you know, I probably get a lot of hate, you know, from the loyal Kith fans, but I'm just not rocking with these, right? I mentioned this year, so many different 95 collaborations that unfortunately, not all of them are gonna make the top of the list, right? And, you know, unfortunately, some are gonna make the bottom of the list, which is why I put these right here. But don't get things twisted, right? The 95, still a great model. I think it was a good choice for Nike to put a heavy push on these. And remember how I said they kind of perfected this sneaker? Everybody's saying that the shape is better, they're more comfortable. And of course, we gotta throw in the big bubble, right? Nice touch to bring back the real feel, you know, the original look for this classic sneaker, right? So let me know what you guys think about these, right? As far as today's releases, we had some interesting ones. Of course, we saw Nike release the Kobe 6 Pro Tro. Caitlin Clark, they're calling these joints Light Armory Blue, which these did release via the Sneakers app. According to Eldon Monitors, right? They keep track of the stock numbers via the back end. As far as this release, roughly around 12,000 pairs, so quite limited, I would definitely say so. So let me know if any of you guys went for these joints today. It's kind of interesting to see how Nike has been handling Caitlin Clark's career so far as the sneaker releases, right? Many people criticize the fact that she hasn't got her own like signature sneaker just yet, which I think with Nike, they're playing things safe, right? They understand that everything Caitlin Clark, every move that she makes is under like a heavy microscope, you know, here with social media. Everybody's talking about what she's doing. And unlike some of her peers, right? You got Angel Reese already releasing her signature sneaker over at Reebok. They're doing good things over there. I think with Caitlin Clark, Nike's kind of just letting things marinate for her a little bit, right? They just, I think, are focused more so on like Asia Wilson with her signature sneaker. I think she's much more deserving, you know, based off her career accolades. But don't get things twisted by attaching a big name like Caitlin Clark to these Kobe 6 Pro Trail releases. They already know it's a recipe for success, right? It gets her name out there as far as in the sneaker world. And by the time they debut her signature model, which is rumored to be releasing sometime coming up next year, I feel like she's already gonna be well established in this space, and her sneakers are gonna be a big hit, right? Now, as far as other releases, we saw Nike hit us with the Jason Tatum Jordan World Tour Pack, which is actually a combination of his signature model, the Jason Tatum 4, as well as the Jordan 11, right, low. So this is cool, right? Jordan Brand bringing back the packs as far as these drops. There are also some different regional exclusive releases, but as far as for over here in the US, we're getting these colors, which as far as the colors they represent, that throwback St. Louis Cardinals jersey, which happens to be Jason Tatum's hometown. So I like what they did right here. As far as this release though, the Nike drop today was absolutely insane, right? Remember Eldon monitors, they keep track of the stock numbers, them Caitlin Clark joints. Remember how I said they released somewhere around 12,000 pairs? As far as like general release Jordan Retro, sometimes, like just for example, like the Taxis, they released around 85,000 pairs. But as far as this Tatum pack, just to let y'all know how niche this one is and how collectible it's gonna actually become, they dropped 42 pairs, bruh. No, yeah, 42 pairs. Like, think about it, right? Based off the size run, that just means that they released like maybe a couple of pairs per size. And just for example, like a size 11, they didn't even release any pairs, right? So this one's extremely rare, very collectible. We did see this one actually drop a little bit earlier in store, but overall, Nike made these extremely exclusive. And I understand why, right? I feel like with these Jordan, you know, signature sneakers, whether it's Luka, which he's got the international fan base, but somebody like Jason Tatum, I feel like these signature sneakers aren't really moving the needle like that too much. And to bring a little spice, you know, flare these up a little bit, I think they got to throw in some of these exclusive pairs into the mix. So while some people would complain that this sneaker is like inaccessible, you know, hard to get, I think that's the reason why they had to do it, right? If they would have GR'd these, probably they would have sat. So in this case, I think it's a good job, you know, to make these a little more exclusive. Not every pair, but some pairs got to be a little more special, right? So this was a dope release. And as far as Nike, Jordan Brand bringing back the packs, like, can we get some retro countdown packs like back in the day, right? I think that would be a dope idea. But as far as this sneaker, $355 for 2 pairs. Let me know what y'all think about that one right there. So as far as the big drop, lastly, we got to talk about Travis Scott, right? Yesterday, he literally pump faked the entire sneaker world. We saw the password page load up, the shop.traviscott.com. You know, after a few days of just seeing the spinning Jordan 1. But as far as the password page, right, people were anticipating it was finally going to be the time for the drop, but literally pump fake everybody just to load up the new Takashi Murakami merch drop, right? Which they got some cool pieces. Don't get things twisted, right? You got some cool little t-shirts, some hoodies, a bag, as well as these little plush joints, which retail for an insane $3,500. And on top of that, shipping 12 to 14 weeks. Like, how long is it gonna take them to make these joints, right? So that's wild. I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't mind having that, but for almost $4,000, like, it's kind of crazy. But salute, man. I'm sure some Travis Scott kids, you know, took their parents' credit cards and ordered these joints up, man. That's wild, bro. But as far as the merch and all that, that's cool and everything. But the biggest update from what we learned yesterday, they did say right here at the bottom, Travis.com exclusive release, right? Remember how there was rumors that this would actually be dropping exclusively via Travis's website, no sneakers app release? Apparently, Travis's team is letting y'all know, right? They're giving y'all a hint that these are exclusively releasing on the website. It's just a matter of when are they actually going to drop, right? So remember last week, everybody was saying the 12th. Well, there were some reports about the 12th. Who knows? Maybe tonight could be the night, which it's kind of gotten to a point where I really no longer care about this joint. I'm sure everybody will be notified once the raffle goes live. And at that point, you know, I'll just throw in my little raffle entry. But sometimes it even feels like it's not even worth your time to even enter the raffle, because it's like, is anybody actually going to have success on this drop? So we'll see how it all plays out. But apparently they're saying Travis Scott exclusive. I'm still saying take it with a grain of salt. We could possibly still see these joints hit the sneakers app, but of course we'll just have to wait on it. So that's all I got for you guys here today on this Wednesday. I'll be checking in with you guys later as we got an exclusive report for you guys to check out. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, JATV. If you guys enjoyed this video, help support the channel by smashing the like button. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys later. Stay safe, stay blessed. JA, I'm out. Love.